Okay, so I want to start with a small story. We all experience that we're sitting in a restaurant, we just finished our dinner, we ask waiter to pay, and he came to us with a card machine, we put card inside, and then we start waiting and waiting and waiting, because probably the SIM card which is inside of this machine can connect to the network which is in this area. So today I'm going to tell you about how we can fix this small problem, or in general, how we can increase sensing quality of life with IoT, and particularly with SIM-based connectivity solution. So my name is Karina Popova. I'm DevOps, developer evangelist, and everything in whatever mobile. And the company who allows me to work so much is a German well-known service provider, and we are working like more than around 15 years with our customers. We started as a messaging aggregator, and nowadays we are moving towards IoT as it's kind of a trend. But because we have a lot of experience in this messaging area, it gives us an excellent path towards IoT, actually. So to give you a brief introduction, we have 50 excellent developers. We do around 80 million transactions per month. We have quite a good revenue in this year. And what is more interesting, we have access to more than 400 different mobile operators and networks. And as you can see, platform availability is almost perfect. So, when we're thinking about increasing sensing quality of life, actually we're thinking that people nowadays trying to find out more about their life. It's not new trend, it's like old also, because if you imagine your parents or your grandparents, they always trying to find some patterns in their daily life and somehow to optimize it, to save some time. Nowadays we do it with all this life tracking stuff, and basically the quantified self term is a self-knowledge through a self-tracking with technology. It allows us to capture all data around us about ourselves. It allows us to understand more about our physical or mental state, and it's quite good connected with IoT nowadays, because all these self-tracking devices are nowadays called more IoT devices. So, Internet of Things is obviously converting all objects that surround us every day into community of information. From small devices to houses, IoT is leading us more and more into the digital world every day. And for this purpose, different sensors are necessary, which turn all objects into data-generating things, and sometimes they interact with the environment, which help us. And these IoT devices, they can connect in different ways, we know this. But today I will focus on a cellular connectivity or mobile connectivity. And obviously we know that Wi-Fi reception is always limited to the access point, and it's depend on some network configurations which you have to provide. And cellular reception is actually everywhere around us, and it does not require any maintenance effort from the customer side. And actually, when we think how many SIM-based devices we have around us, we can understand that with cellular connectivity, we can have a large investigation about almost each event in time and space, and it gives us an excellent overview. And actually, this spring, I've been on a conference in US and IoT Slam conference, and there have been a question. They ask, do you still need a mobile connectivity for your IoT project? as nowadays we have Wi-Fi and other types of connectivity. And surprisingly, 75% of all owners who participate, who has an IT project, they told that they required mobile connectivity. It's critical for them to have it. And the second question was, do you need a worldwide coverage for your project? And 63% told that it would be nice to have a possibility to work, to have their IoT devices in different countries. So mobile connectivity is somehow becoming an integral part of IoT. So you know, a lot of IoT cases designed for mobility, and at the end, it's in turn makes it an extremely compelling project topic nowadays. But if your device is bound to a single network, you obviously will not have a network coverage which you need, and the quality will be poor sometimes. And as a developers, we all experience to find this kind of flexible, secure, and globally distributed connectivity solution for IoT. And the problem is that there are a lot of high integration efforts, different APIs, network and device configurations. They are always very hard to understand the policies on the mobile operator side, and there are a lot of limitations from mobile operator and dependencies on the network capabilities. So actually, we thought about what kind of, first our idea was what kind of needs can any IoT project have, or should require somehow. So the first need in our mind was connection quality. So what we wanted to achieve is to have a permanent connection with the maximum existing possible coverage worldwide, and with the possibility to switch to the strongest network wherever IoT device is. So it actually brings you a lot of opportunities, so your IoT devices can move. It does not, when you also can have these SIM cards from mobile operator, but till the last moment you have a coverage of this operator, they will never switch to another existing possible better network. So it also allows you a faster and easy way to the market, because somehow you are not dependent on any contracts with mobile operators in particular country. You are more flexible and worldwide. The second need we thought should be, of course, advanced security, because when we are talking about IoT, we talk a lot about security, how we can protect our data, who can see the data, and so on. So security is obviously important for all of us. But of course, not every application is transmitting a highly sensitive data, but security somehow is the core of IoT projects. So we thought that it would be quite cool to have API restrictions, that the SIM card should be locked to a specific device, and the integration to the customer network could be done via VPN. So why all this security? For example, locked to a particular device, a lot of IoT devices located in public areas somehow. So whenever someone will can steal actually a SIM card from your IoT device, but if it's locked to a specific device, he still can't get any access. Yeah, about VPN I will tell you a little bit later. It's also quite cool. So another need is the access to the device, because you can have a lot of IoT devices in different places, but you don't want to be physically to monitor them on this place. You want to do it remotely. So the nice thing could be to have a static private IP addresses, so it means you can completely lock down, for example, access to the public internet and just particular access particular device only from your space. You can have a bidirectional communication with a simple push notifications. You can actually to update or maintain the device and either connecting or debugging it. And yeah, you can monitor everything that's going on this site. Somehow it's very important for IoT projects. The next need is flexibility of the SIM cards. So we thought people have crazy ideas about IT, like tracking polar bears, for example. Or sometimes they use IT devices in a harsh metal process environment. So we decided that it would be cool to have that our cards would have a resistance from -40 till 100 Celsius degrees, that they can work in harsh environment, which is very good for industrial applications, and that it will have a lifelong span. So like for 20, 30 years, it could be still valid for fabrics or some automotive sector. So another thing, and this is one of the nicest part, I would say, it's control and automatization of the processes, how you communicate and how you can monitor everything on your SIM card. So we think that it would be quite nice to control and monitor all SIM cards which you have, do it in real-time management with all your endpoints, and you can do it through a customer portal or API. So it will help you to establish automated processes, and you can easily deactivate or activate SIM cards, monitor what's going on, and it is quite useful to do it in real time in some cases because there are a lot of time-critical IoT projects. So at the end, we have this Wherever SIM. I think you already heard about it because I'm tweeting a lot about this, and the name is quite funny. Wherever SIM because it's working almost everywhere in the world, and it has different form packages, and it's quite cool. Actually, my mission today is somehow to enable developers to show them the potential of these SIM cards that no one knows that they're existing, actually. And with these SIM cards, we can develop so many cool new applications for IoT and increase the quality of our life. And I will show you some use cases and how to do this. So from the implementation side, there is no more difficulties for developers at all, because you basically have your own core network operator, which is completely replace the core of mobile operator. It's extremely scalable, completely cloud-based and globally distributed. And what is more cool, each SIM card is API programmable, which means you are not dependent on operator anymore at all. So network architecture provides direct access to all your mobile IoT or devices via IP, and application server can directly access your device by the static API address, as I told. The transparent network allows you to use any network protocol and only one VPN connection to all your SIM cards, and there is no VPN client required on mobile devices. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy. The traffic is encrypted before transmitting over the public internet, and in some cases, if you want, you can completely lock down the access to the public internet, and only predefined IP addresses can be used, as I told before. Yes, so it looks like this. So basically, usually you have a VPN tunnel to the device, a lot of different them, and they are not encrypted by mobile operators. But what we provide is a solution. We have just one VPN tunnel from our side, which connects to all SIM cards. And there are some, it's encrypted on both sides when we connect to the APN, and also GSM protection, which is quite cool because usually there is a network which is quite hard to control. Yeah, it's also less power consumptions because you don't establish different tunnels. Yeah, and no VPN client or your devices, and it's a very nice VPN architecture. And What is more interesting for me today to show you is our customer portal and API. So there are two different possibilities to success. One for the general public user who is just first time working with IoT. Of course, for him is a customer portal more suitable, more understandable. So let's start with this. There are different information what you can get. It's everything about your SIM card, endpoint, about service profile. As you can see, you can configure. You're not limited what actually you can do, how many SMS a device can send or receive. And usually you buy it from a mobile operator as a package. Nowadays you can manage it by yourself. There is a tariff profiles, and what is the cool thing, we do a data pooling, which means that if you have 10 SIM cards, one is using a lot of data and another one does not works once per month, you still pay one bill for all data which you are using, not for SIM card. And there is different tariff profiles here for different countries. We have 5 tariffs for Europe, Asia, US, and then a global. So it's pretty easy. And the SIM card actually is always in kind of roaming mode. And but it's working in a nice way that there is different gateways, which means if your SIM card is in China and you have a German number, it will not send a signal as usually it do. It sends to Germany and then waits back. There is a gateway in China, so it will be working very quick and immediately receive a signal. So what you can see from about endpoint, that it's enabled. You can anytime disable it. You can see necessary information about your endpoint. The networks, is it attached to which network it's attached? You can see a data usage and also costs which you're spending immediately. Then there is a service profiles. That's what I told you. You can configure if you want to use 2G or 3G or 4G. If you want to send only a message from the device or to the device, how many messages it could send, so you can limit the device, for example, is not sending too much messages if something happens. And from the API point of view, it looks like this. So with just a simple API call, you can get all information about the device and use it the way you need to use it. You can get an information about, of course, name, status, which tariff profile it's attached, which SIM card is inside, is it locked or not, which IP address it have, and also location of the device, of the SIM card. So if you want to patch your endpoint, you just simply can change everything via API. And you, starting with the name, you can enable, disable it, change profiles, even a time when you want to deactivate the device, for example. So there are some, like I want to, on a simple examples to show you what you can do. So if you have a device, and IoT is about, mostly about the device is reacting or something. And for example, the case when you have a SIM card inside of the device is very popular for alarm system providers. Like whenever something happens in your house, they can trigger immediately and send SMS, for example, to your mobile phone. But at the same time, they can send this SMS to their customer service and receive it via, integrated in their system, and receive it via HTTP, SMTP, or any protocol which they use, basically. Another case when you want to send SMS to the device or call to the device. There is a very funny case in Germany now. They want to customers to call on the particular number, and they open a garage door inside the parking. It's very cheap for them because the calling does not cost anything. Like if no one take answer, it doesn't call anything, but it doesn't cost anything. But the devices trigger an action to open the door. Yeah, so it's also possible that they can control and monitor it from their system, or the customer just have a number whom he can call or send SMS. Another case is USSD. I hope everyone knows what is USSD message. No? This is message when you want to check a balance on your phone, for example, and then it appears on your screen, but it never saved in your incoming messages. So there is a very nice case in US where they're using this SIM card. They put it on the ships, and which always located somewhere near the coastline, but it's the connection is not so strong near the coastline, so they don't want to use a GPS connection, or the SMS is quite expensive for them, so they use USSD, which means less power consumption, almost nothing. They don't need to charge these devices, so these ships can perfectly communicate with each other. They open a dialogue and talking with each other without any problems. And it's also some security information about what they're doing on these ships somehow. Yeah, so you can see that there are a lot of different IoT cases. We can see it in payment terminals, fleet management. There are a lot of for smart houses right now, smart home, and e-health monitoring also. So I want to tell you three particular showcases which we created in my company. And the first one is a really cool one from my point of view, because we supported a nature conservation project. This guy, he decided to collect some money to donate for nature in Germany. So his idea was that he will do this stand-up paddling boat from Munich to Vienna for 2 weeks. So for him it was critical because on the river there is not really a good sometimes connections for some operators. So for him it was critical that SIM card can switch different networks. And as who knows, Germany, internet connection is pretty bad there all the time. So it really needs to be switched from network to network. So it was possible to monitor him in live because people donate money during his this 2 weeks journey, so they can just see where is he all the time. So every few seconds the SIM card send data where is he, and at the end during 2 weeks he spent like for about 20 megabytes, which is very small. And when the company who is producing these tracking devices realized that it's so cheap and working so good that he crossed some countries and it still was visible where is he, they really want to have this immediately in their devices. So you can check, I don't have a link here, but yeah, I will put it in my presentation later. So you can check, it's very cool showcase which allow us to see that it's possible and working. The second use case was prepared for wearables conference in San Jose, US this July. So basically we imagined like, okay, for example, there is a person, he's 82, he's feeling quite fit, but he has troubles, of course, as all of us will have probably, with blood pressure, and he needs to be monitored in a special kind of, let's say, assisted accommodation or something like this. So his relatives want him to move there. But he does not want to change his life. He still wants to live in his house and that everything is fine with him. So we created this showcase, which is Wearable device, which simply Arduino device with a pulse sensor, which is suitable with this Arduino device, and it has a GSM shield, which means you can put a SIM card inside. And whenever any figure reach a critical state, so you like say from something from if it's more than 100 bits or if it's less than 40 bits, then it's critical. The SIM card is actually trigger an emergency call, and the cool thing is that it's not dependent on any other network, which means a senior can actually go to a supermarket, and if something happened with him there, it will be still reachable. The doctor will be still reachable. And immediately during this conference, companies who is working with e-health monitoring, they found out that it's very interesting for them, because they are all limited to this Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connections. They always, if you have any tracking device, you need to connect it with your mobile phone first or something to collect data, and here you can do it immediately without any problem. So the next showcase were done together with developer advocate from IBM, and particularly we had an idea that we can transfer data not only via GPS network, we can also transfer it via SMS. For example, in some places, if you put a car, for example, and you want to drive it from Siberia to Portugal somewhere, it crosses a lot of countries, but sometimes you don't have internet access, but you still need to send the data. So it's possible to do it via SMS. So what we had in mind that we have our device with a SIM card. If internet connection is possible, it's transfer data to our server and stored it in database. And it's always receive a notification that it's done well. But if he doesn't receive this notification, or he immediately understands that there is no internet connection, then he sends this data via a normal SMS and receive a notification back that SMS is delivered, and then we know that the data transferred successfully. So in our case, a small showcase, we decided to actually store all data in CouchDB and represent. On this map, you can see all places where I had talks about wherever SIM, and it sends its location from these places. So you can see we are covering a lot of different conferences. So yeah, all showcases which I was talking about, you can find on our GitHub account, which is whatever mobile, wherever SIM. As I told at the beginning, I really want that you see this presentation more as a recommendation how to work with mobile connectivity and IoT devices. I hope that you really learn some new stuff, what is possible to do. I hope that together we can actually bring all our efforts, what we usually do, into actionable results and help society at the end, because some, like e-health monitoring or these kind of projects are very important for our future, I think. And I hope that you learned basics of these SIM cards. And we also have on our website a lot of blog posts about this, on Twitter, wherever SIM. And I have some test SIM cards with me, so if someone wants to try it already today, you can come to me and I will give you some SIM cards. And there is also on our website, we have a developer package with 5 active SIM cards, so you can order it and use it for any purpose. It's very easy to use and it's very easy to configure. And yeah, thank you very much for your kind attention today for my presentation. Actually, we'll be extremely happy to talk with you about these SIM cards and to answer all your questions. Thank you very much. So basically, for example, this developer package, you pay €9 for 5 SIM cards. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, somewhere here. And first, when you buy a SIM card, you pay for a SIM card, something about €1. There is a monthly fee, something also about €1 per SIM card. And then you just pay for amount of data you used. That's all. There is a different packages. You can pre-buy data packages. Of course, it will be a little bit cheaper if you buy, like, you know, you need 100 megabytes. You buy 100. It's cheaper than you just use it normally. But yeah, we have a fixed price for all SMS. Like I don't remember the price, but I mean there is a little bit cheaper for Europe. And there is a little bit expensive if you use like 1 cent more expensive if you use a worldwide option. Yeah. Any other questions? Please. Yeah.
So you're covering all the countries because, of course, there are always problems with operators and stuff like that. So do you cover all countries in Europe?
In Europe, yes. Yes. In Serbia, yes. And in some countries we have like 2-3 operators which is possible to connect. At the beginning I told that we have access to more than 400 operators, and as you know we have about 200 countries, so it means almost everywhere we are. Yeah. Please.
Do you include the hardware for the SIM cards or in development?
Okay. Only SIM cards.
Where can you find the hardware for it?
On Amazon, for example. It's kind of, but it's working with all kind of IoT devices like Raspberry Pi, Arduino is a simple one for developers, which is more interesting, but with it. They have a GSM model. Every time when you buy an Arduino device, there is a possibility to buy a GSM shield for it, for example. Yep.
Sorry, how much is price, for example, for Cellular SMS?
About, I can be wrong, but about 4 or 5 cents per SMS, something like this. And about 1 or 2 cents per USD message, something like this, yeah. Any other questions? Technical questions? Yeah?
Hey, I'm more interested, maybe more use cases you think it could be covered by this technology. I mean, probably most of the use cases need to be where, I don't know, we want to track something moving along through different countries or something like that. I mean, that's the best process.
No, when we start, we thought that it's the best. Like we always say, we are so mobile, we are covering, you can cross the borders. Yes, it's still possible, but then we find some clients who is like a big retail stores, like DM or Rossmann, for example, and they have another problem. They have so many stores and they don't know what kind of operators in the small city in Germany somewhere is possible to access or not. So they just want to have a SIM card which is possible to get connection everywhere. So they buy our SIM cards and they're sure that whenever operator in this area. So it's not only for moving cases, it's also for some people who has a lot of IoT devices everywhere, and it's stable, it's on the same place, but it still needs to have just one contract, not a contract with each operator in this area. Yep.
About the garage example that you mentioned.
Yep.
The current problem that I had is the MTS telephone. Will shut down your card if you don't pay any credit to it 1 year or something like that.
No, you pay a monthly fee about €1 for each card, and you sign kind of a contract with us for 1-2 years, but we are very flexible. We don't have a rule that if you sign the contract, you should stay with us for 1 year. You can cancel it this month, and that's all. So, yeah.
That card, can you use 4G connection or something like that?
Like what?
4G.
Yes, you can. Yeah, but it's a little bit expensive. Yeah, we're working, like we start 6 months ago, we did not have that moment USSD, we did not had some other cool functions. Now we're really working, so with time it will get better and better, I hope. We have a lot of plans. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah?
If you can track the device and send via SMS, for example, the location, what is the precision of the location of the device?
So devices, there is a GPS inside the device, and you can get. Yeah, if there is no GPS, you can still connect it, but there is a limitation of some meters, or depends on the mobile operator.
So it depends
So
on the operator.
yeah. Yeah? Is it any other questions? If not, thank you for being in my presentation, and everyone who wants to get a SIM card, you're welcome. I have some with me. Okay, thank you.